until 10 o'clock. So on the football show, we're going to be looking ahead to the brand new League of Ireland season, which gets underway this weekend. Shane Supple will join me in studio. Between now and then, we have John Giles, Tommy Walsh and Brian O'Driscoll.
It's not a bad lineup, is it?
Give us your 1, 2, 3 there, Ronan.
You have to come back to me, Richie.
Giles, Tommy, Driscoll.
Oh! You see, you should have taken your time. Firstly, you should never have answered that question.
I don't care. What's he going to do?
Secondly, you got to weigh up who you're going to see. So Tommy generally, stays out and about. He's at matches.
Yeah, never seen him on Sunday.
He's down in Tullaroan.
Yeah.
So you don't have to actually face him. So you could put Tommy third.
Yeah.
But Brian will probably be in studio,
How many times have I done a Thursday where you're not here and John's in studio? Can never look the man in the eye again saying I'd place him 2
That
or
is
3.
true.
You know what I mean? After that, it's like, it's moot,
I love Tommy Walsh, but Louth is not a hurling stronghold, Nathan.
So you just don't have it within
And
you to fully appreciate his talents.
I've got a rapport
What
with...
is Louth a stronghold of?
Well,
maybe don't add to that.
soccer.
Cores.
Yes, true.
Cores. Good and
Cores
bad.
are great.
Yeah.
And then Brian O'Driscoll, I think. Just pips Tommy.
I can't believe you're answering this.
Well, you asked me the question. What's your top 3?
I love them all equally.
To fair.
Can't.
I refuse to answer.
That's like saying you love all your children equally. It's just not true.
That's very much true. 3
say-
children, much like those 3.
I say
Love the
Louth...
love.
Absolutely bet you have a favourite.
I say Louth's not a hurling
on the
stronghold.
day.
We produced the greatest hurler of all time, Chulainn, who was an absolute sensation. Did you hear about this guy? Prodigious.
How many All-Stars
Prodigious.
though? How many All-Stars though? Show me his medals, Ron.
No Tommy Walsh is what I heard.
No Tommy Walsh? I don't know.
Show me his medals.
Cullen. Dear God.
He's
And
on
the
the-
cores.
he's on
Where's
the
the
mount-
cores from?
Just beside me, actually.
Where's that? Dundalk?
Just outside the town, yeah.
Wow. And do they still live up there?
Oh, God, no.
Where's Jim live?
I think he's...
In Monaco.
Monaco.
No, I think Jim's...
He seems like a Monaco
I
kind of
think
guy.
Jim's back at base.
Seems
You'd see
like a
them. You'd
tinfoil
see them out
kind
and
of
about the odd time.
Right. Would you?
You would, yeah.
What's he doing?
No, you'd see them.
Oh,
Collectively.
together. The 4 of them.
Well, that would be incredible. They just do impromptu...
Reunion.
Yeah, impromptu gigs at the square.
Right. So John Giles coming your way from 7:30.
John Giles at the chorus. Go.
John Giles at the cores.
Or the chorus.
John Giles.
All right, fair enough. Just checking. Seem to be big into the chorus for a second.
What a collaboration that would be.
John Giles at the cores. That's the sort of thing that would have ended up on like Brendan and O'Connor's show about 15 years ago of a Saturday night, where Giles would be singing and they'd be doing backing vocals. Could have been glorious. Tommy Walsh coming your way at 8 o'clock. Tommy is going to give us an in-depth analysis of the breeding system of Ballyhale and how they're quite simply so great. Do we have this? So Tommy was live on our social channels and on OTB Sports Radio a little bit earlier. We're talking Fitzgibbon Cup. The one medal he doesn't have is the Fitzgibbon Cup, despite playing for UCC, the most successful college in the Fitzgibbon Cup. We're going to talk about the Allianz Hurling League. And somehow, over the course of the conversation, we got talking about up-and-coming players from Ballyhale after winning the All-Ireland who should be next into Brian Cody's squad. And as is the way with Tommy Walsh, it kind of went off on a slight tangent.
It's amazing, really, the Ballyhale connection, like the Reeds, the Shefflins, and the Codys. The Reeds, the Shefflins, and the Fenleys. So all the Mullins, their mam is a Fenley. The Codys, their mam is a Shefflin. Evan Shefflin is obviously a Shefflin. His father is Tommy, a great coach as well. And then you have the Fenleys boys themselves and the Reeds boys themselves. So them 3 families, they're amazing, really, and the lineage that's coming after them. And when you go back up the line again, like the Fenleys, they're related to Brian Cody's mam. I think that basically, say, Colin and Michael's granny would be a sister, I believe, of Brian Cody's mother, So when you go back, say, Brian Cody would be first cousins now with likes of Kevin Fenley. Any of our listeners maybe that would be following hurling in the 80s and that, like the likes of Ger Fenley and Liam Fenley, Sean Fenley, they're all first cousins.
I didn't realise
of
that.
Brian Cody.
So the Fenley brothers are first cousin of Brian Cody. Wow.
Say Michael and Colin's dad.
Yeah.
Them Fenley brothers. Yeah. So like the lineage, and you often heard me speaking about breeding, and you can't be breeding, but that's probably just exceptional. To be proud of that in Ballyhale.
It's unbelievable.
So let me get this straight. The Mullen's mother
It's like beautiful mind.
a sister of who? Like, we should definitely just go down and do a who do you think you are Ballyhale style.
What we need is someone to fact check all of that. Just
I was concerned about that. I don't know if we've got it fully liable, just in case we've got the wrong person with the wrong person. But it's got confusing, all this breeding now, because there's Codys who are actually Shefflins. So the Cody he's talking about coming into the squad is Henry Shefflin's nephew. There's also another Brian Cody, but he's not a relation to the Brian Cody. And then there's the Fenleys. So there was the 7 Fenley brothers. Then there's the kids. But it turns out that they're first cousins to Brian Cody.
You can see why he's not leaving that job anytime soon. He's got a lot of family to keep happy.
Dear God. It's sensational.
oh yeah, the family politics there must be difficult. Selection-wise.
We went down to Ballyhale last year. We recorded a panel down there with a couple of the Fenley brothers. I think we had a Fenley. We had Tommy Shefflin, who was mentioned there as well, whose son is a Shefflin as well, it turned out, as Tommy informed us. We had a couple of Codys. We got a full tour of the village. Got brought to all the houses. We were parked outside the Fenley's house, which was a bit awkward after 20 minutes. I won't lie. They probably were wondering why we weren't moving. Went outside Henry's house.
Big gaff.
Nice, as you would expect from the greatest hurler of all time. But very much in Ballyhale, aside from Cuchulainn.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, listen.
Cuchulainn's castle.
There's doubts about Cuchulainn, I think.
Cuchulainn's castle overlooks the town, so it's got due prominence.
Much like Shefflin's gaff.
Exactly. Cuchulainn may not have medals, but he has a roller coaster named after him.
Take that, Henry Shefflin.
Have you been on Cuchulainn in Tato Park?
I have not. But the folklore, it's like, I don't know what the equivalent is in other counties, but I knew about Cuchulainn before I knew about anything.
Well, I knew about St. Patrick before I knew about anything.
I think Cuchulainn trumps St. Patrick all day long.
Does it
Really?
irk you?
I don't think Cuchulainn ever got us a day off school.
Does it irk you that Cuchulainn's roller coaster is in Meath and not in Louth?
That's, great. It does great.
Especially after 2010.
10-year anniversary. Peter Fitzpatrick back in.
Great days. Great days. A Giles Chorus collab is the dream, lads. I can see it now. The classic 1997 album, Talk on Corners, could have been retitled Taking Corners. Bosh from Dave. Dear God. Whew, it's been a tough start to the show. There'll definitely be a get to the sport, lads text on the way any second. Get your rankings in. I'm going to put them to John when he's on at 7:30.
You asking him to rank the cores?
Don't think that's politically correct anymore. Jim number 4.
Jim number 5, even though there's only 4 of them.
What are you starting with?
Caelan Doris is in contention to face England in the Six Nations on Sunday week, according to Andy Farrell. The Leinster number 8 missed the win over Wales, having suffered a hen injury in the opening weekend victory over Scotland. Doris, along with Robbie Henshaw, have taken a full part in Ireland's training camp this week in Cork.
Yeah. The reason we kept Caelan available because he missed most of last week, so just to keep him up to speed was good for him. He's done all his return stuff, and he's certainly clear now, and he's had a good couple of days back with the squad, which is great for him.
England, meanwhile, have suffered a blow ahead of next weekend's game at Twickenham. Anthony Watson's been ruled out due to a calf injury. The Bath wing had missed England's opening 2 games of the campaign. Sky's Jamie Weir had the unenviable task of catching up with England head coach Eddie Jones today.
Your opposite number, the opposition's head coach, is the father of your captain.
Yeah, but it doesn't really make a difference.
No, it doesn't. But it's a strange situation, isn't it?
Not really.
Is he allowed to chat to his dad next week?
Look, they've got a normal father and son relationship, but they're very professional, and they've grown up living the game of rugby league or rugby union, so they understand their responsibilities.
You don't want to be at the end of one of Eddie Jones's short answers with a mate there, do you?
Why did you say I had the unenviable task of catching up? Oh, you just meant like sitting down with him. I thought you meant that Eddie Jones was on the run and he was trying to chase him down.
You said Eddie Jones is particularly fast.
That's what I was anticipating.
I've got those new
He
non-flies,
just
mate.
has such a brilliant accent.
Did you see his interview on the BBC the weekend?
Pre-match with Sonia McLaughlin.
Brilliant. That's it. I think people take his stuff a little bit too seriously. And by taking it too seriously, you're feeding into him wanting to do it more. And he basically admitted to the fact that he enjoys that, and he's using it as psychological tool for both for his team and the opposition.
He, in the space of one sentence, said that Andy and Owen Farrell had a normal father-son relationship, but also were both professional. So what is going to happen? Do you think they talk to each other next week?
No. The same way you wouldn't talk to a opposition head coach in a League of Two game.
But it's his father.
So.
If he's just ringing for a chat. Maybe for their entire life they've, twice a week, Owen checks in.
Maybe they don't have that kind of relationship.
But maybe they do. We just don't know. That's what I'm wondering.
But you're speculating wildly in the dark here.
Also, generally in a game like this, you would say, are we going to target the opposition number 10, even if he is playing number 12? Are we going to target Owen Farrell? Are we now not going to target Owen Farrell?
Of course we are.
So, and Andy Farrell's going to say that?
Why not? He just said he's professional.
Because of the obvious... Well, no, he said he was professional.
Well, they're both professional. Clearly, they're getting paid.
Maybe Mike Cat should take the team talk.
It is so different given the physical element of a rugby match as opposed to if this was the Ireland...
You don't think this is...
The Ireland football team against the Ireland or the England football team, it'd be a totally different thing.
Andy Farrell wouldn't be human if he wasn't a little bit confused. If Ireland were to properly go after Owen Farrell and disrupt his game, it's a defining victory of his tenure no matter what happens.
Does Andy Farrell have other kids? Maybe he's ranked his kids and maybe Owen's not actually at the top.
Maybe he really dislikes Owen because Owen has surpassed him on the sporting field.
Then it goes out of the bounds of the normal father-son relationship that Eddie Jones alluded to there, Nathan. There's a lot to contend with here. A lot of variables, a lot of balls in the air.
Are there any examples? Are there people we could get on over the next week to analyse this?
Ask Tommy, sure, they're all related down in Kilkenny.
Harry Redknapp and Jamie Redknapp have just started a new show together.
What kind of show?
Sort of a Sky Sports weekend warm-up type thing.
Oh, Christ.
It can only be brilliant.
I saw John Barnes in a speedboat in the advert, so it can only be good.
All right. Who do we get on to analyse a father managing a team against his son? There's got to be some really obvious ones. 53106, the text number. Keep going, Richie.
Thanks, Nathan. Cork City supporters are to be balloted on a potential takeover by English Championship side Preston. Earlier today, Cork surrendered their sell-on clauses for both Chulainn Maguire and Alan Brown for a lump sum, which is believed to be in and around €600,000. The Leesiders are 100% owned, of course, by their Forest Trust. Cork have an AGM scheduled for March 5th, but an EGM may happen now prior to that. They've been busy, have Cork today, ahead of tomorrow's season opener with Shelbourne. They've signed Arsenal defender Joseph Olowu on loan until June. Also signing up until June from a London club is winger Deshan Dowling from QPR. We should note that Preston owner Trevor Hemmings already has business concerns in the county of Cork already.
So Will O'Callaghan has this story up on offtheball.com, and I know there was speculation about this as to whether this was an investment in Cork City or whether it was a sell-on clause. For 600 grand, even if it's a 10%, and I know there's maybe the possibility the sell-on clause is 20% on Chulainn Maguire's deal. I was watching Alan Brown last night, great Wednesday night, Stoke Preston, cracker. Alan Brown scored a great goal, played really well. Alan Brown is worth 5 or 6 million.
Yeah,
and Chulainn Maguire, you'd imagine is worth 2 or 3 at least.
You'd imagine Maguire would be knocking on 4 as well. Just considering the fact that he actually has scored goals in the Championship, and if he goes anywhere else and it's not a loan deal and he's not worn down his contract, then he is going to pick up a fee of that kind of nature.
Don't Cork have history of this? Did something similar happen with Kevin Doyle and Shane Long?
With the whole Reading thing where they were pursuing...
Bringing forward sell-on clauses?
It doesn't speak well of their financial stability that they, whatever about the takeover talk, that they're willing to just get rid of sell-on clauses for a lump sum to get them from point A to point B.
Yeah, well, if this is as a precursor to a potential sale of the club, which again opens up huge questions, considering at the moment it is still 100% supporter-owned, and whether they want to go back down that route, considering some of the horror stories that have gone on previously. Yeah, it's not an ideal eve of League of Ireland story for Cork City.
Yeah, still busy, as I say, though, 2 loan signings in the door, so, never know what way this is actually going to turn out for them. Speaking of League of Ireland, Kieran Lucid is to meet with Irish League clubs in Belfast this evening in a bid to gain support for his proposed All-Ireland League. The businessman's also expected to speak to the IFA, who have voiced opposition to the project.
Other core songs with Giles as a featured artist could be Runaway from Defenders. Matt Busby, You're Forgiven, Not Forgotten. I Never Loved You Anyway, Brian Clough. Give Me a Reason Why I Shouldn't Dislike Paul Pogba. Are they all you, JP? They're all JP. This is bread and butter for him. Delighted with life.
Forgotten, Give Me a Reason.
Just to let you know that all this week we are teaming up with Aldi to celebrate Valentine's Day, which is tomorrow. Research carried out by Aldi, don't panic Richie, because research carried out by Aldi has shown that 60% of men buy flowers for their special someone after 5:30 on Valentine's Day. It's only 7:20. You could just get them today, leave them in the boot, and you'd have them first thing in the morning. And you'd look great. You've no excuses this year because you can get a dozen roses at Aldi from €3.79 right up to the Naomi Roses Showstopper bouquet for $49.99. I got mine on Monday, brought them home. They're still there, blooming lovely. Which means I am off the hook for tomorrow. Very much so.
You should just do something else.
As part of our partnership for the week that did it, we're giving away €300 in Aldi vouchers every night this week. For your chance to win, simply answer this question, and we should tell you that the answer is related in some way to Valentine's Day and romance. So, name the inter-county manager who won men's senior All-Ireland football titles. Am I going to give the years as well? Just to rightly narrow it down. In 03, 05 and 08. Text your name and answer to 53106 for 30 cents. It is all with thanks to Valentine's Day at Aldi.
Chelsea have agreed to sign Hakim Ziyech from Ajax in the summer. The Moroccan international will cost Frank Lampard's side €40 million with a potential $4 million extra in add-ons to follow. The move is still subject to Ziyech agreeing personal terms at the club. It's the opening round of the Genesis Open at Riviera at the moment. Rory McIlroy is 3 under par with 3 to play. He's bogeyed the 5th today. He's also picked up a couple of eagles along the way and a couple of bogeys. So 3 under with 3 to play is McIlroy. He's 2 shots adrift of the current leader, Matt Kuchar, who heads the field on 5 under par. The American has, 5 holes remaining still of his opening round.
I know what you're wondering, Richie, but I can confirm Golf Weekly is available offtheball.com right now, or just download the Go Loud app and you can get it there with OTB Sports Radio. Go on, Ronan.
McIlroy number 1 in the world?
Yes.
Is that a big deal?
He didn't technically earn it, in that he didn't have to win a tournament.
It's the most un-technicality thing ever.
Yeah, but he's been the best player in the world basically since he left Portrush last July. He's been in unbelievable run of form, so he does deserve to be number 1. He was talking about it in his press conference that the first time he went to world number 1 was the time. It really felt like it mattered. But I guess it's a nice little thing to have.
But there couldn't be more onus on him to deliver. The pressure is already built to such a point that
I think it's nice.
Isn't going to add anything.
I think it's nice that it's happened now. So we're still a couple months removed from the Masters, and it's nice that it's happened now in a way, almost that he's backed into it. It's not that he's raced into a bubble of form whereby he's won a couple of tournaments in a row and then cools off a little bit. He's still going to be consistent. He's backed into it. If he loses, it's no big deal, and he's going to head into Augusta as best he can.
Yeah, he's gone through every way in the build-up to the Masters since he's gone looking for the career Grand Slam. Good form, bad form, playing the week before, not playing the week before, and obviously nothing has actually worked when it got to it, so we'll wait and see. Lads, could you ask Aldi to make sure they've still got those roses in stock after 5:30 tomorrow? Well, that's what we've been telling you all week. 6:30 is the peak time, so definitely 5:30 to 6:30 is a sweet spot, but I'm sure you'll be grand after 6:30 as well. Warren Gatland played against his son in the Lions' first match on the last New Zealand tour, says Dave in Wexford.
Oh, yeah, I remember
his son's name was Bryn. I've just remembered one, actually. I can't believe I forgot about this. Brendan Rodgers. His son played against Liverpool, and Brendan Rodgers said, it'd be one of those things he'd pop up and score from a corner kick. And he told the Liverpool players to essentially double mark his son because it could be one of these things written in the stars. In very Brendan Rodgers mode.
I'd forgotten Nigel Clough only left Forest after Brian had retired as well, so that never happened either.
So we got 2 of them there. That's all we needed, really.
They never had the traditional father-son relationship, though. Apparently, Clough Senior used to only refer to Nigel as the number 9. That's coming from the horse's mouth.
Fair enough.
There you go.
What else you got for it?
More Clough trivia. Not really. Josh Hodnett will make his Munster debut at Openside for Friday's Pro 14 meeting with the Southern Kings. Chris Farrell's released from international duty sees him partner Dan Goggin in the centre. Jack O'Donoghue's another release from the Ireland camp, and he joins Hodnett and Arno Botha in the back row. More big Saracens news, and not good again today. Allianz have confirmed it's ending its sponsorship of Saracens at the season's end. It follows confirmation that the Premiership side will be relegated following repeated breaches of the league's salary cap. Allianz have held naming rights over Saracens Stadium in Barnet since 2012. More signings ahead of the start of the new SSE Electricity Premier Division season. Ronan will be delighted about this one. Dundalk midfielder Chris Shields has committed his future to the club until the end of 2021. The 29-year-old has won 5 league titles with the Lily-Whites since joining them in 2012. Meanwhile, St Pat's have completed the loan signing from Burnley of centre-half Ollie Younger. The 20-year-old is in the squad for tomorrow night's opening game of the season. That's with Waterford at Richmond Park.
So Loud Sporting Prowess, obviously very much built around Dundalk, starting tomorrow night.
And Chris Shields. who, like as Richie said, came in 2012 and was installed as captain. Such was the dearth of established players at the time. It was in such a rebuild mode. Himself and John Mountney, still established players all the way through those subsequent 8 years. So just the fact that he's staying on, and it is a rarity in the league, obviously, that players put together this kind of a stint. So he's gone down as a legend. He's nearly in testimonial territory.
Are you feeling confident?
Rovers are looking very strong, but it's definitely a 2-horse race. Like, there's no... Sorry, Rich.
It's not a 2-horse race.
We'll see what Shane Supple has to say.
3-horse race.
Richie?
3-horse race.
You think Bows can contend for the title?
Absolutely do. I think the signings they brought in have been brilliant so far. Chris Twardek is one of them. Anton Breslin's another. They've boosted themselves in the forward line. If Glenn McCauley hits the ground running, we're going to have more goals inside. Dini Corcoran's back fit when he missed most of last season. They're a settled side. They're an experienced side. Dan Casey coming back in centre half is a brilliant signing too. I genuinely think that there is a push in Bows this year.
Well, Dini Corcoran obviously picked up a bad injury last year.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Bows have that certainly the teams around them don't have. In Corcoran and McCauley, just 2 quality strikers.
And Mondroyo behind them as well. If he's able to actually get a decent run of form, if he doesn't get ahead of himself and start thinking about where else he could be, then...
I believe, Richie. You going to Daly Mount on Saturday?
It's the youngest lad's birthday, so I can't.
Oof.
It's such a marquee fixture, and granted it's sold out, and that sounds great, but like, what is the upper limit on how many people could they actually...
I think it's about, is it 4,500?
No,
like,
if there was an unlimited capacity, how many people would actually go to this, do you think?
I
talking
reckon
10,000?
first day you would get 10,000.
First day you get 10,000.
They've been getting up in 8,000 at Tala
7, isn't
for a
it?
couple of the bigger games. But it just makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense to have this game on the opening day of the season. You could have had Bohemians playing Cork and they would have sold out on the opening day. You could have a Shamrock Rovers playing whoever on the opening day. It sells out. This game is always going to sell out.
But I think
2-3 weeks into the season.
People are talking about this fixture specifically in a way they wouldn't probably talk about the opening round of League of Ireland fixtures. So I think it is a good thing to capture the imagination from the get-go. And if it is a good game, all going well, and the visuals will be good, I think it's a good idea.
See, I think
the fixture
imagination is always captured on the first day. There's always big crowds.
Everyone's delighted to get football back.
You don't need to market it. Whereas actually 3 weeks into the season, it sort of gives it another kick again. But it's all random from the computer rolling.
Of course, yeah.
But Bows are sold out for pretty much all their games because the amount of memberships and the amount of season tickets that they sold this season means there's actually fairly few regular general entrance tickets going.
Here's one for your resident boxing nerd, Ronan. You take that as a compliment?
Yeah.
Didn't Joe Bugner fight against Joe Fraser and then years later went into the ring to face Fraser's son, Marvis, from Baz?
Joe Bugner was a perennial gatekeeper for a lot of boxers, so could well be true.
You think that you just can't confirm it. Time for one last story.
Yeah, speaking of boxing, a 13-strong Irish team has been confirmed for next month's Olympic qualifiers in London. Former world lightweight champion Kelly Harrington, part of that group, along with European champions Kurt Walker and Aoife O'Rourke. Flyweight Brendan Irvine will be hoping to book his spot at a second successive Games, having been part of the team in Rio in 2016.
All right, that is us done for now. Richie, thank you. Ronan.
Cheers, Nathan.
So, we have coming up John Giles,
1,
Tommy Walsh,
2,
Brian O'Driscoll.
3.
It's up to you. But John Giles will be good and he's up next.
This is OTB AM.
On this morning's OTB AM, Kenny Cunningham joined us in studio. Jack Grealish is 100 to 1 to win PFA Footballer of the Year. Fabinho, 50 to 1. Disgrace, isn't it?
You're trying to warm me up.
And Ger went head-to-head with Kieran Donaghy on this week's Shot Clock.
He was a minor when he left. This isn't the case of somebody who has been an all-star who we've seen dominate games. It's also like he's a young guy. You're joking me.
Join us tomorrow morning from 7:30, where we've got the Classic Game Club. We've got Alan